Yo, 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 what's going on? It is your boy, Roddy. Welcome to another episode of the Players Ball Podcast, where we cover all sports far and wide. You can follow us on Twitter. That is at ThePLayersBall1. Also on Instagram at ThePlayersBallPodcast. Along with YouTube and SoundCloud, you can search that same name, The Players Ball Podcast, and they will come up in each respective sites. You can also follow me at Roddy Remastered on Twitter, and then you can follow me on Instagram at Roddy404. Now, it's been not, too loud of a weekend in sports. Still a pretty good one. We got some things definitely we got to cover, especially with the play-in tournament starting tomorrow. Well, today when y'all hear this, but it's going to be exciting, so we'll get into that. We'll also get into a little bit of what's happening across the pond in the Premier League, some of the stuff that went final during the weekend. And we'll also get a chance to look at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which is, it was really good. I think even though I didn't get to watch the whole thing, I thought, it was pretty good. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But like I was saying, I think the most important thing of, this week is the play-in tournament. And we finally got an answer to who's going to be in it. We finally got an answer to if we're going to get Steph and LeBron. We are. And, to be honest with you, I think that, again, this was an idea that I wasn't really messing with at the, beginning of the season, because I really felt like a lot of it was just, a money grab and, stuff like that. But honestly, this is probably one of the most exciting times, over the last, obviously year and a half that we've had of, everything not really being up to normal standards. But, it was really, refreshing to get this newfound excitement, for a game that we've all been watching for a long time. So, Lakers Warriors is everything that, in the world that we believe that the NBA is scripted, that Adam Silver would want. He's really got to be like, man, like two of my top five, in terms of name recognition, if you want to argue about how good they are, we can do that all day, but that's not what I'm here for. Top five in terms of name recognition, LeBron and Steph are right there. And for them to, be playing on a stage as big as this play-in tournament, which, it's not the finals, right? But it's something new. It's something that, is getting people excited, and it's going to work out. So, Adam Silver, you're a lucky bastard. But anyway, I really am looking at the Warriors to hold their own for a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a long time that the Warriors can hold their own, because, they're just simply undermanned. Like, they only go 8 deep. Even those 8 guys aren't the best. I would like my chances with, if they had to just AD, no LeBron, I would like my chances with the Lakers winning, as well as no AD and, just LeBron. So, the Warriors over the past couple of weeks to end the season, everybody's, saying, oh, how great they are and how good they look. And that is true. They look great. And Steph, more importantly, looks better than everyone else. But that's just, the nature of the team and the situation they're in with all the injuries that they've dealt with. So, I understand that people, want to see the upset, but I think hell will freeze over before, the Lakers lose this game. Like, if the Lakers lose this game, we could talk about this probably as one of the biggest upsets, not only in sports history, but it's easily going to be number one in like the NBA for sure. So honestly, and I'm sorry that I just got choppy. Y'all will see it tomorrow. This guy who's in for relief for the Braves just, oh my God, he just tore this dude's face up. Like, he literally hit him directly in the face, and the bases are loaded, and he is leaking on the field. But anyway, sorry. Back to NBA. So really what's important is that, the Warriors just maintain like an aggressive mindset. I mean, that's all I can say for them, to avoid getting blown out, because that's what's coming, man. Like, it's just ultimately what's coming. And I mean, I honestly know that everybody wants to see the drama and chaos, but it's just not going to happen this time. I really don't think it's going to happen this time. So it's fine. It's cool. The Warriors will be back next year. They'll have better players. They'll have, not a terrible draft spot, but, it's just is what it is. So I got the Lakers in that matchup for sure. To keep it pushing to the 9-10 matchup, I honestly think that the 9-10 matchup is a matchup that is, I mean, it's kind of purposeless, in the whole realm of playing tournament thing. But I really like the Grizz on the Western Conference side in this matchup against the Spurs. The Spurs are cool, but, they really haven't had a lot of consistency. DeMar DeRozan is cool. He's a good hooper. And, I often forget that he's even still in San Antonio. But I just don't think there'll be enough. I don't think it'll be enough for them to, really like make an impact. Like, I just think this game is going to be pretty well decided too. So really on the Western Conference, like, these are two pretty obvious games. With the West being so competitive, it's kind of funny that they are, but that's just what it is. But on the Eastern Conference side of things, I really think that the most intriguing matchup is Pacers versus Hornets. And I know everybody's, wanting LaMelo to probably get into the playoffs and be that 8th seed. Well, actually, that 8th seed. Yeah, I'm right. I mean, honestly, I think they have a great chance at winning. But to be honest with you, I really feel like that the Pacers are going to win. I mean, the Pacers, while they haven't been the greatest team this year and they don't really have a lot of talent, like, I still think that they can give, in a one, game playoff, the Hornets some trouble, because they're a very fast-paced team. They have, more veterans. The Hornets are still young. They got a lot of guys who, haven't even been in the league 5+ years. So it's really difficult for me to, trust in that and say that, well, we'll just throw everything that we know about the Hornets out the window and say that they're going to, get up for the biggest game of their season, really. So in this one, I think the Pacers are going to win, even though it's probably not going to be the most popular pick, but that's just how I feel, man. I mean, I really think the Pacers, even though they'll get slaughtered by the winner of this next game, they're one of those sleeper teams that's in the play-in tournament. So look out for the Pacers. And if you're a gambling man or woman, then, or them or they, go ahead out and, get you a ticket for Pacers middle, money line or something. I don't know, make it interesting. But with that being said, I really think this is going to be the best game out of all four, which is Wizards versus Celtics. I know the Celtics have been depleted, and I know everybody's thinking that, it's not really going to be that great of a game because, the Celtics they've really been going through it, right? Like, they had the COVID stuff at the beginning of the year with Jason Tatum. Obviously, losing Jaylen Brown is going to be huge. Wnba being kind of in and out is really difficult as well. And their others, as I call them, are like, they kind of mid, bro. Like, I really thought that Tristan Thompson was at least serviceable, but that guy is not good anymore, bro. Like, he's not good anymore. And, you got guys like Ojale and, you got Marcus Smart, who's always going to be a dog in there. But, I mean, I don't really feel like that they're going to even really have a realistic chance of winning. I think the game will be competitive, but in terms of having a realistic chance to win the game, like I don't know, man. I just don't feel it. It's not there for me. So I think the Wizards are gonna advance and move on. I think they can beat the Hornets too. But the Wizards will get into the tournament. So the Celtics would have to play the loser of or the winner of the Pacers and the Hornets. Sorry, this play-in tournament is so damn confusing. I gotta make sure I know it. But Pacers and Wizards, I still think I'll give the edge to the Wizards, just because they have the 2 stars. And I mean, with how horrible the Wizards look earlier in the year, I think these 2 guys deserve it in Brad Beal and Russell Westbrook, especially what Russ has been doing and how he's been cooking. So shout out to him, man. It's honestly a blessing to watch him do his thing. And I think the Wizards as a organization, fan base, everything, I think they deserve really to have this, at least get into the playoffs. It's been so much misery and so much literal despair, like for years and years and years, that, once they have a more formidable team and a team that, in this era and this current, playoff situation can be good. So shout out to them, man. They definitely deserve it. But I'll be interested to see, how the teams that are coming from the play-in tournament fare in the regular tournament, which, I mean, we all know, if we agree that the Lakers are going to advance pretty easily, that they'll fare probably the best. But I'm interested to see how far the Wizards can get, potentially against a who's the second seed? It'd be Brooklyn. I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. They're probably going to get dogged out. But, hey, it's going to be KD Russ, so it's always going to be a storyline. And that's the purpose of our conversation. It's like so much nuance in the game right now after, people would proclaim that there's, been a lot of, well, the Warriors are the GOATs, so they're going to win, talk. And, the Lakers are the GOATs, so they're going to win, talk. And, to have that kind of, I guess, altered, because it hasn't changed, I guess altered for this year is pretty exciting. So, yeah, man, we're going to have full coverage of this play-in tournament. We're going to be coming at you with the results on Thursday. And, we're always praying for chaos. So we're hoping we get more chaos. All right. All right, y'all, let's get into some news real quick on this beautiful Tuesday. We will start in the NBA again, and we will start with some slander, man. So, I mean, look, this is what I'll say. I don't know, because I didn't watch this particular game. Any game with the Oklahoma City Thunder on this year was really tough to watch. I mean, they're gutted, man. Like, they are gutted. But the Clippers played them for their last game of the season in Oklahoma City. Sitting obviously most of their key guys. Everybody is saying that the Clippers, based on the performance, of effort and, everything that they saw on the TV screen, they saying that the Clippers was losing on purpose to avoid being placed with the Lakers potentially in the playoffs, which, I mean, look, it's the Clippers. Everybody already hates them for no reason. Everybody is also going to, really be like, well, they're the Clippers, so we can shit on them, and that's the environment that they have lived in for so long, that when it comes to stuff like this, it's like, there might be some truth to it. So they said they, basically threw the game, fixed the game, or lost it on purpose for seeding purposes, which can be strategy, or it can feel, like disingenuous, to some people, which is fine. It's understandable. I get it. But hey, man, if they're a little shook, they want an easier road and running, a route that they feel like they can, get to at least the conference finals easier, then I mean, while you can't call them anything but scary, I can't say I don't understand, especially with the issues that the Clippers have been having. I'm just not big on them. So, but that was pretty funny to look at from last night and everybody talking about it. But to keep it pushing, the real bombshell of yesterday at the time of this recording was Steph Curry and his insane performance against the Grizzlies. Like, literally insane. Like, this dude is, I don't even know how to describe him anymore, man. I really don't. Like, he just shoots from wherever, whenever, and it goes in, man. Like, it's just, that's simple. So he's going to be this year's, scoring leader, scoring title winner. And I mean, he deserves it. Like, especially missing games and getting the scoring title. Like, that is, you got to be gifted, man. You really got to be gifted. And he's been that way. Even though I feel like, again, he's going to lose this week, I still feel like he got his money worth out of the season, and he shut y'all idiots up that keep saying that he needs to prove anything. He don't got to prove jack shit. He's already there. So just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. That's it. But to cap off the NBA, Jazz and 76ers, they get the top spot in both the East and West, respectively. Honestly, I think the Jazz probably needed this more than anybody, dealing with the issues they're dealing with, injury-wise. Donovan Mitchell missing so much time. Mike Conley also missing time. They need the matchup to be as easy as it can get, But, it depends. It really depends on, what happens with, the 8 seed in the other play-in tournament. Possibly Steph could get in if they lose to the Lakers. Maybe they'll win. And I think that the Jazz need this more than Philly does, even though I am not a big believer in Philly, because the Jazz really are that team that you can't look at that one guy and say, we're going to rely on you. Just with the situations, that they're under, again, with the injuries, there's just not that guy. Like, Gobert is good, but he's just not that guy. And, Jordan Clarkson has been fantastic off of the bench. He's been going stupid. But all in all, I really feel like that if they don't get Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert back, depending on who they play in that A spot, they could be in trouble, man. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I'll keep posted to that. That's going to be an interesting development for sure. But to switch it to the ladies, the WNBA started last week. And yes, we are going to be covering the WNBA. If you don't like it, fast forward, because we want these ladies to be supported. Even though, I'm not A-list podcaster number one in the sports realm, I still want these ladies to know that I'm watching, I'm paying attention, I'm trying to push the game and make sure that they get what they deserve and what they've worked for. And it's been exciting too. Like, that's the thing. And for us fellas, us heterosexual males, I know this is very shallow, but there are some beautiful women playing these games, man. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you can just give it a chance, like, honestly. And these games, to me, are entertaining. Like, yes, of course, the pace is slower, but don't come into it with the same expectations as you would a regular NBA game. That's just, that's really what it is. But honestly, I feel like the WNBA is in a place, and we'll talk about this later, that is better than it's ever been before. But we'll get to that later. In terms of action, Diana Taurasi, she had a game winner that, and I know Sabrina Ionescu, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm sorry if I botched it, but her game winner was tough. I ain't gonna lie. She came off the pick, hit the three, Kobe's Hall of Fame weekend. She was very close to Gigi and Kobe and their family, so it was really big for her, and I'm glad to, see everything that shot meant to her, especially after being injured so much last season. But, if we're going to talk about just straight cold-blooded dagger, man, like, Diana Taurasi hit a cold-blooded dagger on the road off of a missed free throw, just dribbling down the court, one move, pull up, in your face, cash money. And she is, I mean, she's the GOAT. Like, I don't know of any other, WNBA player that could even come close. I mean, Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie obviously are, legends, but, in terms of numbers, what she's done, how much she's won, it's really hard not to feel like she's, not the GOAT. So I'm excited to see, what's going to happen this year. Candace Parker shifting teams as well, going to play, back home in Chicago. I mean, it's going to be one hell of a year. And we'll get into later why I feel like it is. So shout out to the ladies, man. We're going to keep y'all posted on what's going on there. But to go back really quickly to the WNBA in puzzling news, Luke Walton is going to come back to Sacramento to be their head coach, which I don't really know why. Luke Walton, I mean, I don't want to complain about anybody getting a job, especially in the climate we're in, but Luke Walton good. He an NBA player. His daddy played in the NBA and was good too. So he ain't lacking for money. It's not nothing like that. It's just, I don't understand how you can be so, and this isn't even debatable, mediocre at your job and you still get more opportunities and chances to move on and go forward. Like, it's mind-boggling to me, to be honest with you. And I really feel like, he just needs to be gone. And the Kings have not been a serious organization for years on years now. And maybe it's the ownership not being serious about really investing in the right guys to build the team, or I don't know what it is, but they built that new arena. They're trying to get money off of the fans, and they're giving out a poop product. And, with them bringing back Luke Walton, all they're telling the fans is, hey, man, y'all eating this poop up. Y'all ain't complaining, so y'all just gonna have to deal with it. And that's just whack to me. But it is what it is. Now, to go into the cage, we had a big UFC match in the light heavyweight division since Khabib vacated the title with, the announcement of his retirement. That left room for Charles Oliveira, who, man, he knocked the soul out that little white boy. I forgot his name, but Brazilian dude, came from the favelas, very poor, underprivileged, and, you could just see his excitement. He went around and hugged Joe Rogan, jumped out the cage, hugged everybody on, the opposing guy's staff, which, that's when you really geeked, and really feeling good. And it was just great to see, man. It was great for him. So shout out to him, man. Congrats. UFC is growing on me, though. We're going to have definitely a lot more analysis on that and trying to get, into what they're doing over there a little bit more, because it's kicking up. I think, UFC was a little top heavy for a while, but I think it's finally found that sweet spot of being, just a good overall product. So definitely shout out to those boys. It's been a good growth mission for them for sure. Now, to take it to the gridiron, there's been reports that Travis Etienne of the Clemson Tigers, formerly, he's there with his buddy Trevor Lawrence, and I guess they want him to be one of his new slot options because they're moving the kid to receiver. Like, they're saying he's taking snaps at receiver, and, they want to make him into the Alvin Kamara hybrid type situation. But, I mean, Alvin Kamara is rare, man. Like, they have to realize that. And, just the simple fact that he's been so effective, in the Saints offense, it's easy to see why, more teams are looking for these guys, great big bruisers of running backs, but also guys who can catch the ball. So I didn't really look at Etienne as a guy who was like, man, he's just a dual threat. Like, I just really thought he was a good runner, athletic, maybe can go out there in the, in the right scheme in the slot and do some things. But, to be honest with you, man, I just don't, I don't know what Urban Meyer's doing. He's been making so many bad decisions, and this could be potentially one of the biggest choke jobs in the world. And hey, we'll be here to slander him because he deserves it. We're right here on the Players Ball Podcast, all right? But to keep it going, to go across the pond to wrap it up, Harry Kane is announcing that he wants to leave Spurs at the end of this season. I don't know why he signed that Death Row 360 deal that he did with all those years to Tottenham. I mean, you could really just see that, Tottenham were a good squad, but they weren't really making any noise and moves to really get free agents, which is weird. And I say free agents like this is basketball or football, but if you're not going to be able to get transfers and, you have a guy as good as Harry Kane and you can't fill out the rest of the roster, that means that it is a cultural, environmental, deeper than just, performance-based issue. And, I mean, you've seen it with Tottenham's lack of success over the years. It hasn't been there for them. So there's no surprise he wants out. And I don't think they'll give it to him, but, he can ask all he wants because that's what he wants now. But like I said, man, he's waist deep in shit. That's what I'll say. He's just in a bad situation, and I don't think it's gonna get better. So prayers to that man for real. But to cap it with stuff across the pond, Leicester won their first FA Cup. It's been 70 years, with the death of their owner and everything that went on with, their mystical season in 2016. This is just something that they deserve. And even though I'm a Chelsea supporter, I wasn't too upset that they won because they deserved it. And, the goal that they won on was incredible. And hey, man, they earned it. So not too hating minded on that. It's really what they earned, man. So shout out to Leicester. Hopefully we beat y'all in the league because I really want to stay in top 4 for Chelsea, but we'll see, man. Chelsea I hope they don't start going on the down decline, but hey, who knows? Now, that is your news and notes. You know what time it is next. Let's get into the big 3. All right, man, the big 3. 3 biggest stories in sports right now. We definitely want to start with Kobe because, not only was he a part of the star-studded class of Hall of Famers that went in for the NBA this weekend, but, he just, and over this, year that he's been gone, it's just so many things that can come up and remind you of Kobe. So shocking that he's still gone. I mean, I still really, truly cannot believe that he's gone, man. It's just heartbreaking to think about. But, I mean, his wife did a phenomenal job. It was an excellent speech. And it just had to be torturous, though, for her, going through, of course, what she's been through, losing a child, more importantly, and, having to be the one to give this speech and having the weight of, Kobe's Hall of Fame speech to be put on you, a guy of such accomplishment and the magnitude of what he's done in the world and in the league. It's just, it could be overwhelming. So I wouldn't be shocked if Vanessa Bryant, was dreading this weekend coming up, to it and even going through it because it's only reliving and resurfacing trauma. And it's just awful. It's awful. But I think, Natalia was great. I think, obviously Vanessa was fantastic. And man, it was just, I mean, I was preparing to cry the whole week, man. It was just so heartfelt. That woman is beyond strong, and I wish their family nothing but the best, forever, ever, because I really honestly think that, we get to experience Kobe as fans, but she, will never, never tell you that any experience that you've had, no matter how close you are to Kobe, any experience that you've had with him is even comparable to everything that they've been through. She's really been by his side for a long ass time, for the majority of his adult life. And, to see him go, to see, you have to just read the speech for him. Is just, it sucks, man. So shout out to Kobe's family. Shout out to all the great Hall of Fame inductees: Kevin Garnett, Ricky T, Tim Duncan. Just a great class and of more than deserving guys. It really is. So shout out to them, man. Now for the number 2 story, we're gonna go to the WNBA. Like I was telling y'all, this is going to be a season to remember, man. It really is. And I honestly feel like, with everything that's going on in the world, we got time, man. We got more time than we think we do. We really do. And you should watch the games. That's what I was saying earlier. You should give these ladies a chance. Like, really, the thing that I hear the most is, well, it's not exciting and, but again, you have to temper your expectations. You have to go into it knowing that, man, look, this might not be what I'm getting entertainment value wise from the NBA, but if you just make a little time, to watch maybe 1 to 2 games a week, anything helps towards, these ladies' progress to getting what they deserve, which is just being treated fairly. And, with the constant, showing of love to, the WNBA through ESPN, making documentaries about their, experience in the bubble, how they influenced the Georgia runoff election. Like, you can't sit here and say that they're not important. Like, they are. And they've shown and proved it time and time again. And that's why I say I feel like this season is going to be special because you got a lot of great teams. A lot of, the great players are spaced out. Not a lot of injuries. So we're praying that stays the same. But, man, like it's veterans who, have given you everything, like Diana Taurasi, should I say. It's, those, players that have been in the league for a while, not as old as, Diana, like the Skylar Diggins and Brittany Griners. And then it's the new blood, it's the Sabrina Ionescu and all the ladies from this year's draft class. So look, man, you cannot be interested if you want, but I really think that these ladies are providing value that, should get them treatment that is at least first class, and they haven't been. And there's so many issues that, we can't even fit them into one show that, are going on with them. But at the end of the day, man, I think that this era is way more willing to be able to, give them a chance and try to grow the game, which is what we need. So shout out to the WNBA, man. I'm going to be posted. We're going to have news and notes from them and betting as well. So go on to our Twitter again at ThePLayersBall1 and follow us. We're going, we're going to support these ladies because this is what they deserve. Now, with the last story, a little less serious than the first two. J. Cole is playing basketball, dog. Like, he's really in the African Basketball League, playing for the Rwandan Patriots, which I'm not really comprehending, like, how this league works. Maybe I should have did some more reading, but I think he's playing in America. Like, he's playing in the U.S., but the league is African. But I don't know in terms of ownership, like, is the team owned by African people? Like, in terms of, like, what is it? Like, there's so many questions. And honestly, I really feel like Cole living out this dream, Yeah, it's promo for the league. Like, the league is going to accept it. I don't think he's taking any guy's spot away because Africa usually isn't where, the guys who really have a chance of being, good EuroLeague players or overseas players in general, they don't go to Africa first, unfortunately. But, it is what it is. And, I mean, he had a measly 3 points, a couple assists, nothing too deep. And, I mean, hey, man, it's inspiring, it's really inspiring, and it's entertaining too, to really see a real life rapper like get on the court and show off his basketball skills and he actually be halfway decent. Like it's inspiring for all those guys who rap and, want to be in the league and vice versa. So, man, I really honestly like wish him the best, and I hope he don't tear a damn ACL because the man is 36 years old still. He was a walk-on player at St. John's, but it's like, bro, that was some years ago. That was over a decade ago, honestly. And you're back again, trying to do this at 36, which, hey, man, if you got the bread, you got the time, do it. Like, I would definitely do some asshole type shit if I had money like that too, but it just is what it is. And I really feel like, I mean, if anything, it's going to be entertaining, right? But that's going to be the big three for today. Thank you guys for joining us as well on the podcast. We are going to do this Tuesdays and Thursdays. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Also, again, follow us on YouTube at the Players Ball Podcast. Follow us on SoundCloud at the Players Ball Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Players Ball Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at the Players Ball 1. That's where most of the gambling stuff is going to be immediately. So if you're into gambling, definitely hit that up. Make sure you go visit there. And I mean, we're going to have a good summer, man. It's going to be interesting. Especially on the gambling side. So make sure you stay tuned to that. We're still working on visuals. We're still working on some more guests for you guys, especially with the NBA playoffs coming up. So we'll get to working on that in the background. But again, thank you so much for listening. We will watch some sports and get back to y'all on Thursday with, hopefully, like we said, some chaos, baby. All right. So with that being said, it's your boy, Roddy, and we out.